Hi, and welcome back to Ask Dr. B. This is the fourth video in this series on bullying. The first three videos cover things like how do you recognize the signs in young children, in preteen kids, what do you do, how do you step in, how can you help your child, steps to take, actions to take. In this video, I'm going to talk about those teen years. And in the prior video, I talked about the preteen years and how that age range, middle school, around that time of life, that's where sadly we see the highest rate of bullying. That doesn't mean that it doesn't occur younger ages and in teen years and in young adults who are in college and adults and beyond. And in a future video, I suspect that I will come back and talk about bullying in the workplace and bullying that affects adults, because sadly that happens too. But thinking about our teens, there are certain things that make both understanding the impact of bullying different than thinking about younger ages, and also how we might step in to help our young people. So first, thinking about what does it look like in our teenagers. Again, many of those symptoms and signs that I referenced in earlier videos apply here. You look at their overall functioning. How are they sleeping? How are they eating? What's their mood? A little more about mood in teenagers in a moment. How's their mood? How are they doing in their activities? How are they doing socially? We'll come back to that in a minute too. Okay, mood. Let me just say that the teenage years, as those of us who have had teenagers, as those of us who have worked with teens, have studied this developmental stage, the moodiness that sometimes we see, that heightened irritability, the sort of I don't want to be around you all because you're my family, the attitude, that parents will refer to, it can be present for all kinds of reasons, sometimes because that is just developmentally where that young person is. And that's, by the way, that is a normal time, normal developmental experience for the young person and for us. And it can be very painful for them. It's that self-consciousness that we see, where teenagers sometimes get stuck in feeling like, everything is about them. And that can make it difficult for them to appreciate their family, appreciate the relationships in their families, and only their friends matter, things like that. But that can make it somewhat difficult to tell sometimes, is the moodiness that I'm seeing in my teen because developmentally this is sort of what they're going through, or is there something going on? So you really have to be a good detective and look across different aspects of their functioning. They may not be very pleasant to you, but they're doing well in school, they're doing well with friends, their friend relationships seem healthy. They're sleeping as much as they normally do. They're eating okay. And there isn't any other indicator. So be a good detective, especially focus on their social relationships. Have things changed? Are they not hanging out with people that they did before? Are they reluctant to engage in social activity? Obviously, you need to pay attention to what's happening in the cyberspace. This is what makes bullying today more dangerous, more destructive than it's ever been. And that is that so much can be done that is destructive, that is literally can be deadly online. And so pay attention to what you're seeing, what you're suspecting, what you're noticing. Talk to other parents in your children's friend group. Keep those relationships established, keep the lines of communication open. All of these things can help you determine. And of course, talk to your teen. Throughout the teen years, it may feel like they disappear on us or they don't want anything to do with us. But they really are hearing us. They are tuned into us. The relationships matter. So invest early and often in those relationships with your kids. that will come back to help you during the teen years. And even if, so up to that point, you don't feel like you are as close as you might like to be, nothing wrong with investing more now. And, develop a good thick skin. Try not to take too much personally that happens coming from your teenager, although set limits, set your boundaries, make sure that there are consequences if they are inappropriate in how they treat you or other family members. But those relationships. So don't be afraid to talk to them about what you're seeing or about what you're sensing, what you're concerned about. Take their comments and their language very seriously, either what they say or what they write and what you see because they're sharing that with you. This bullying that occurs, we have seen across the world, young people taking their own lives as a response to being bullied online. And so when a young person says that they feel like, it's overwhelming to them and people hate them, it's never going to get any better, they should just, not be here, or things like that are alarming, listen to that. That is a young person who should be assessed by a mental health professional, because of those concerning statements. And I'm going to talk a little bit more in a couple of minutes about sort of what to do and how to engage others. But use all these tools, be a good detective, talk to them, talk to friends, track what they're doing, to determine if something is going on. Now, this time of life is challenging in terms of how you step in to help. Again, think about this, that they tend to be more self-focused, and it comes and goes, but it makes it more difficult for them to see that this will pass. So things often feel very intense and very impossible to imagine that it's ever going to end. This is always going to be the way it is. So be mindful of that, and in terms of needing to appreciate, recognize, try not to be dismissive of those feelings. They are real to them. They feel them. They're not pretending. They're not being dramatic. They feel them very intensely during this time of life. But it makes it difficult for how to help them sometimes. But again, you can try. Bring your concerns to them from a place of, I love you, I care about you, I'm worried about you. Offer to help them come up with solutions that work for them. For teenagers, you can't step in and solve it for them without them. That would only backfire. So resist that urge to try to fix it, because that would not likely help. If you've tried all these things, you've tried talking with them and you're seeing them deteriorate, their functioning is deteriorating, get help. Talk to other adults in their life, coaches, youth ministers, if in your congregation. If you don't have someone, talk to your school about potentially seeking a counselor or a mental health professional who has expertise in adolescence. Bring your adolescent, there and have that conversation, or you go yourself, or you have a phone call. My point is, don't undervalue or underestimate the importance of this if it's happening. If you do, again, hear these indicators that says that your teenager is suffering, that they're feeling very bad about themselves, that they're having really dark, frightening thoughts that you hear or that they share that they're having them, do go to a mental health professional. You can go to an emergency room and have them assessed. Tell the folks when you go into the emergency room what's going on. Make sure you tell your child that it's because you care about them, you're concerned about them, you want to get some help to sort this out. You have faith that you can sort this out. You can always call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline if you're worried about them. And they're willing to talk to the person, or you can get on the phone, or you can get on the phone together and get some help, get some guidance, get some resources. We have that in the resources attached to this video, but it's 1-800-273-8255. If you're a veteran or service member or military family member, press 1 to get directed to specific services for you. Okay, I just want to make sure. Oh, just a couple other factors that make it challenging during this time of life is, of course, the power of the peer group. Your teenagers want very much to be included. They want to participate. They want to be valued and recognized. That's all normal, healthy, understandable. As we get older, sometimes we're better able to say, you know what? If that group doesn't want me, I don't want them. Much harder to do when you're a teenager. So you may again want to think about with them solutions. Maybe it means looking for other friends or more remote from what they currently are involved with activities that could introduce new opportunities. The point is there's lots of things you can do to help them find a new peer group, but letting go of the one that doesn't want you is extremely difficult. So be sensitive and mindful of that. I mentioned the fact that at this age, young people deserve their independence as long as they're behaving in a way that is productive and responsible. But that also means that they may say, look, I've got this, I don't want you involved. And so you then, it's a delicate balance. How much do you hover? How much do you step back? But pay attention to those signs. Are they taking care of themselves or not? Are they agitated or down or not? Are they not engaging with friends in healthy ways? Look at those signs just in general. They're sleeping, their withdrawal from activities that are unrelated to friends, but also school. So I've given you a lot. There'll be a lot more. There's a lot in the resources here in this video. Thank you to the individual who wrote in on this topic. It is very, very serious, and I hope that that's the one thing that has come through loud and clear in all of these videos. This is a very serious issue to take very seriously and be helpful to your child. You can get to the other side with this. They can too. Thank you for tuning in and for looking out for the well-being of yourself and those that you care about. I look forward to future questions. Thank you. Take